Hi everyone, my name is Marketa and I'm going to present our paper Disrupting Modern Human Food Interaction on behalf of my co-authors Daniel, Ferran and Hilary. Together we founded a community network Feeding Food Futures that focuses on human-food interaction issues and the growing role of digital technology in food cultures. Our paper reports on 4 Feeding Food Futures workshops undertaken at KAI in Montreal, this in Hong Kong, this in San Diego and KAI Play in Barcelona. The workshops reflect on food technology issues and opportunities, using experimental food and design co-creation as the primary method. At the workshops, food served as a research team, but also as edible and compostable design material. Food is embedded in everyday life practice, so it provides a very accessible starting point for reflection and for sustainable experimental practices. The workshops enabled us to debate what we saw as critical issues in HFI design and research and propose a set of recommendations for the field. We also considered the commonly overlooked opportunity to use edible and compostable food materials for design experiments that use tangibles. Our findings are thus relevant to designers interested in food as a research team or as a sustainable material for tangible interactions. I will now outline our 6 HFI recommendations. First, we propose that HFI should support creative and sensory-rich food experiences rather than deliver quick-fix solutions. This was our focus at the Hong Kong workshop, where we conducted an experiment comparing traditional pancake making in a fry pan with PancakeBot, a machine that prints pancakes based on drawings made in custom software. The PancakeBot process was heavily mediated. The cooks drew a digital pancake shape, positioned a mechanical plunger with pancake batter, and let the machine do the rest. In every cooking step, the visual aesthetic took precedence. In contrast, in what I will call traditional pancake making, the cooking tools seem to disappear into an embodied process, and the cook's decision-making is guided by all of their senses. Curiously, the spectacular PancakeBot experience influenced our cooking with the fry pan, and we began to prioritize the aesthetic shape of our handmade pancakes, regardless of the impact on taste or texture. This shift illustrates a key risk of inserting digital technology into food cultures and shows that technology design can cause users to overlook important sensual qualities of food practices. Our second recommendation is that HFI should nurture food experiences that are socially engaging, culturally aware, and playful, rather than only efficient. This recommendation is derived from the Barcelona workshop, where we examined food traditions by playing with them, using our custom toolkit. Together with participants, we identified food traditions that we found socially and culturally interesting and used these as a starting point for playful HFI prototyping. One of the selected food traditions was El Porro, a Catalan vessel that streams wine out of a small nozzle. Drinking with El Porro is a challenge that often results in stained shirts. Inspired by this estrangement, one group prototyped a lo-fi mechatronic food vessel that changes shape as users eat. It increases the chance of spilling food while eating, which will likely give rise to laughter and fun. While this example might seem trite, the playful food tech prototyping process focused our attention on traditional food knowledge rather than utilitarian agendas that typically guide food tech innovation. The results emerged not only as fun, but also experientially rich. Third, we propose that HFI designs must be mindful of consumers' privacy and allow them full control over their personal data. This was our topic in Montreal, where we speculated on food tech futures using our Food Tarot tool, a card deck of emerging food tech practices designed to provoke imaginative future food scenarios. One group was inspired by the Datavores card that describes quantified self-diet tracking. The group envisioned a scenario called Total Food Control that outlined a dim future where people's food practices are tracked and manipulated in a top-down manner by the Ministry of Quantified Health. The ministry designs meals for citizens according to their personal data records, completely ignoring personal preferences. This scenario raised concerns about the limited privacy of diet tracking technologies that often gather, and sometimes also misuse, users' personal data. Our fourth HFI recommendation is about nurturing consumers' common sense knowledge of food instead of prioritizing standardization. This suggestion comes from the San Diego workshop, where we reflected on HFI issues through boundary objects from participants' personal food cultures. One participant brought a photo of a cloudy pickle jar from her grandmother's kitchen. The participant considered the jar's content terrifying and unsafe to eat, but her grandma had no problems with it, because she uses different criteria to assess food safety. While the participant prefers clean food packaging with standardized expiration labels, her grandma, a long-time fermentation practitioner, prefers to trust her senses instead. The jar provoked discussion about the contrast between new food products and technologies that aim to standardize food practices and old traditional food techniques, such as fermentation, that support messy experimental food entanglements. These traditional food techniques often provide opportunity for hands-on, sensory-driven learning, which we see as important skills that should not vanish. We further propose that HFI designers leverage modern human perspectives to support environmentally sustainable food tech innovation. This is inspired by a small foraging trip around the conference venue in Montreal, where we collected paper-based food waste and crafted a food waste tarot card. While making the card, we discussed the diverse impacts of traditional wild food foraging. While it can be an important sustainable practice, foraging can also threaten local biodiversity by leaving less food for local insects and non-human animals. Responsible foraging requires intimate knowledge of a local ecosystem. However, many popular foraging technologies and apps bypass such knowledge. As a result, their use can intensify the negative impacts of human foraging and cause harm to local ecosystems. Our final recommendation highlights that HFI designs should be broadly accessible. HFI designers should conduct fieldwork in the wild to become familiar with the local foodscapes that they design for. This became apparent at our foraging workshop in San Diego, where we searched for locally significant food experiences. The local foodscape provided a controversial context, with dining options consisting of either very expensive restaurants or cheap fast food diners. Our foraging walk highlighted the unequal socioeconomic access to good, healthy food products, designed to support good, healthy food practices. This issue was evident in the local context, but it is also known to be a global problem. To conclude the workshop in San Diego, we initiated a collaborative HFI zine, summarizing our discussions and the workshop activities. The zine was later extended with findings from all previous workshops to offer a set of humble recommendations for HFI, which we also discussed here in this presentation. Our workshops brought focus to the ambivalent impact of new food technologies on food cultures. Technologies designed to improve food practices and solve problems often create new problems of their own. To incorporate technology meaningfully into food experiences, HFI designers must carefully consider the diverse impacts that innovation may have on situated food practices, and embrace culturally enriched, more than human perspectives to avoid unnecessary harm. Through our workshops, we also considered food as a tangible design material. Food is edible, perishable, compostable, and thus potentially more sustainable than many materials currently used in tangible design research. We propose that designers consider the perishability of materials as a positive attribute. If sustainability is taken seriously, we might appreciate materials that have shorter lifespans or that evolve over time, perhaps outside the designer's control. Such modern human collaboration remains largely overlooked in design research. We see it as a serious gap that warrants attention, and we would thus like to ask you to imagine, what if all these materials were edible? By someone or something, by any creature living on our planet? What would happen if our design materials are consumed or composted after a research experiment ends? Do we really need our tangibles to persist for thousands of years? Could edibility be a feature of tangible materials that can help us redirect the design of interactive systems towards more than human flourishing? The Feeding Food Futures Network is actively engaging with these questions. If you are interested in the conversations we are having, read the paper, check our website, and join the Feeding Food Futures activities. Thanks for watching.